Okay, so this one is about the nature of money. So I'm going to go quite deep into this one. I'm going to begin it with a macrocosmic perspective on money in context of infinity, a unified singularity, just one thing, observing all of existence, and the context of stepping that pure potentiality down into material form. So something of no substance, observing itself as infinity, and the process of stepping down the macrocosm into something of microcosmic scale. And so the first concept I want to draw your attention to is money flowing through quantum entanglement. So if you imagine each transaction as an act of witnessing, and the observer effect that we witness in quantum physics, creating the expansion. So just recently it was proven scientifically through an experiment that nothing is in existence. Nothing exists in reality unless it is observed. So we can prove this now. It's no longer theoretical, that everything in existence is being held there because at some level it's being observed. And so just to draw your attention to experiments that we've done whereby we can hold something in a state of observation, meaning we can collapse the wave function into reality through sensing, quantum sensing, through measurement. So we can imbue our intention to measure something into some other form of matter, and we can imbue it with our intent, and it can hold something in a state of observation. So we now know how to imbue consciousness into other forms of matter, machines, with the intent to measure, with the intent to observe, and that will collapse the wave function into reality. So if you now zoom out again to the perspective of infinity, observing interactions. So just to imbue a bit more perspective into this, infinity is searching for the light within. It is complete darkness, absolute darkness. There's no separation. It's searching for separation. In the same way that human beings, when we go within, we find the shadow, we find the darkness hidden. Infinity is seeking the light within. And so light is separation. Light literally represents the separation of substance from potential. Every photon is a constrained packet of sound. And reality is photons strung together. And so understanding that the observer effect is creating expansion. If we observe something, it expands. If we just witness it, it's compounding. It's appreciating. With choiceless awareness, meaning free of judgment, free of perspective. And understanding that we can imbue this into machines to collapse potentiality, or to collapse a wave function into material size. Then we can view money as a quantum observer. So seeing money the nature of money, we create it out of thin air. That's how it's created. The mechanism, so we draw it out of infinity. So we can view it as the quantum observer. If you see infinity as the pervasive, all-seeing I that precedes I am, the all-seeing I preceding I am meaning I plus am. I and that. I plus that is the birth of separation. So if we view money as the quantum observer, it circulates, it's fluid, it's liquid, then it is creating reality through appreciation. What we are choosing to direct money into is an intentional decision upon what to appreciate. And so if we now zoom into the perspective of a venture capitalist, and we look at the process of a founder being metabolized through a venture capital firm, they have pure conception. So they're beginning to constrain infinity into form through a concept. Can be loose, can just be an idea, but it's yet to meet the market. It's yet to be refined and shaped to fit the market. And so here we have the channeling of money through focused attention for the purpose of collapsing the wave function of the concept into material form, into material size. And sophisticated investors, they understand this. This is what the stage gates are for. Here is this much investment so that you can accomplish X, Y, Z, which means that valuation appreciates by X. And therefore, there's more reason to continue focused attention into the next stage gate. Now, unfortunately, there are lots of challenges with this, of course. Not everyone is sophisticated enough to understand the true power and nature of money and its ability to appreciate. Because what this asks of us to do is to understand the nature of the problem to such a degree that our appreciation is focused on the solution to the problem. That's what we're choosing to appreciate, so that the expansion of it is a state of surrender and allowing the expansion to just happen. So this is the nature of liquid. It has to get into every crevice and see it and observe it and consume it. And so here we have this incredible mechanism, money, and most of us hate it. Most of us view it as the problem. It absolutely is not the problem. What the challenge is, and here's the problem statement in this context: money is not the problem. Capitalism is not the problem. The problem is attention. It's consciousness. It's intent. It is markets that are utilizing speculation in order to determine where to focus the attention of liquidity. We're too far removed from the problem statement to effectively channel our awareness, our observer self, utilizing money as the extension of that aspect of our nature as the observer. We wield that power. We can't see the problem. And so it's all floating around in a superposition, never reaching, never solving the problem, because we can't focus it in on the solution to the problem. And a common issue that I've encountered in the innovation ecosystem is an aversion to the problem. I don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution, focus on... Well, if you don't understand the problem, your solution is just an idea. It's just a concept. Unless you understand the problem, unless you're willing to go into it, look the demon in the eye, feel the pain of the people with the problem, empathize with it, understand it to such a degree that you empathize with the pain. Only then can you truly focus your awareness through money to appreciate the solution that dissolves that pain and allows the natural expansion that we experience from the observe effect in reality of collapsing the superposition, of collapsing the wave function into material size. This is how we influence reality. This is how we impact it. And so, what is the problem in this scenario if our attention and our focus is the issue? Speculative trading, speculative valuations, markets where we're not actually getting behind the asset, not doing proper due diligence, where our understanding of where the leverage is skewed, using templated pitch decks, copying and pasting other people's problem statements and just using them to try and get money, rather than focusing and directing our attention to the root cause of the problem. And in order to understand it, this is through R&D. We understand the nature of the problem. We're directed by a hypothesis, which is our best guess. It's a concept, and that concept is shaped and refined and sculpted as we go deeper and deeper and deeper, and we allow our hypothesis to be rendered incorrect, obsolete, understanding that failure is it doesn't even come into the equation. It doesn't even really exist. It's just it's like an illusion. Failure is just an illusion. Failure only happens when you abandon yourself. When you jump out, when you try to escape before getting to the root cause of the problem, or in order to avert the feeling of being rejected or being wrong, or averting the challenge necessary to shape the resolution of the problem statement. The resolution meaning how detailed is it? How much texture is there to it? How much do I understand this? Is it so textured that I can feel it? Is it so textured that I can just see it in my mind like it's real? Or is it hazy? Is it like a dream? So money is not the issue. Capitalism is not the issue. Money is the lifeblood. And so let's zoom out of the perspective of the venture capitalists and the innovation ecosystem now, and now look at the creation of money. The majority of new money gets created by banks in the form of loans. When a new loan is created, the reason that it's created out of thin air, we say it's created out of thin air, is because there's unrealized potential. And so if there's unrealized potential in the market, then we either collateralize and create a loan as leverage, or we, through debt, or reputation is leveraged and a risk is taken. But the entire framework for this is that it's funding productive enterprise. It's funding the appreciation of an asset that's yet to be appreciated. And this is if we managed and facilitated this process properly, if we were to ensure that the utilization and allocation of resources was being directed towards the realization of unrealized potential, of understanding the problem statements, preventing market fit, preventing innovation from meeting the unmet need of stewards of that solution capable of appreciating it. And this is the key, is that all of us are stewards. All of us hold the power to collapse the wave function, because we all have the power to observe. We all have the power to focus our attention. All of us are holding reality in place through what we're choosing to observe and through what we're either intentionally or inadverting imbuing the power of the observer into as a tool. So if we manage this and regulated this properly with this degree of conscious awareness, of intent and ethical stewardship into our decision-making power and authority on what we're collectively choosing to appreciate, then we can begin to enter into a natural progression into a pattern of what I would call recursive witnessing, which will perpetuate appreciation. And really, that's the recipe for infinite expansion, because we know that observation appreciates, passive observation appreciates, it collapses potential into reality. We've proven this scientifically now. And through recursive witnessing, we can perpetuate appreciation. And so when I say recursive, it's about decay, conscious decay. So if we zoom out again, look at reality as it is now, we view the obstacles and barriers, the problems, the challenges, and we begin to consciously dissolve those by removing what's holding them in place. Then it begins to become recursive. And so this is where we start to illuminate the true source of the problems in the regenerative system that is the universe. And they become glaringly obvious. And for me, the solution statement begins with ethical stewardship. The ethical stewardship of our decisions, our decision-making power, on what we're choosing to imbue our presence into, what we're choosing to observe, what we're deciding to measure, and what we're deciding not to measure, more importantly. And how are we using money, liquidity? Are we directing it in areas that are unconscious? Are we investing it in projects that are uninformed, lazy, hopeful, scattergun, ill-informed? Are we perpetuating the problem? Are we perpetuating the cycle? Are we just building, are we just compounding the unintentional decisions we've already made, and we just making that more and more rigid and more difficult to dissolve and collapse? And so really this is what is required, is the unconscious collapse of markets, the conscious collapse of structures, outdated matrices that are holding unconscious intent in place. Bubbles of value based on speculative ideation and trends, not serving anyone. And each individual understanding that they are a witness of reality and have the potential to expand what they're observing. All of us are creating reality through our decisions on what to observe. We can observe reality with choiceless awareness or with conscious awareness. Choiceless awareness means we're purely observing. Conscious awareness means we're applying our judgment. And we need both. So I just wanted to seed this concept for now and let it gestate for future conversations about ethical stewardship, wealth management, and how I believe that we can together, through ethical stewardship, first of all, of money, by agreeing that money is not the enemy. It's the tool that we utilize to extend the power of the observer to appreciate. But infinity, it's important to understand the observer needs to go deep. It's looking for the problem. It's looking for the true barrier to what needs to appreciate. And unless we wield that infinite part of our nature, the observer, with responsibility, then money is really not going to be able to circulate to where it needs to go. And circulation is the solution to everything, the circulation of money. Because what naturally happens is the reconstitution of depreciating matter, of the aspects of reality that need to decay and need to be reconstituted and need to collapse back into potentiality so that it can be redeployed into what we actually truly want to appreciate. This is all that's required. It's a perspective shift. We don't need to reinvent everything. We don't need to keep perpetually trying to reinvent the wheel. We need to adapt and shift the paradigm of our perspective towards money, towards appreciation. And we need to wield the power that we all have as the observer, the aspect of our own nature that is infinite and that is singular, unified, seeking separation, seeking light within its own darkness, and understand it's trying to go deeper into the hidden realms to see and understand what needs to appreciate. That's it. And that's it. So hopefully that's helped shift some perspectives. And I'll talk more on this topic soon. Cheers for now.